Yo, what's good, people? Alright, this has been on my mind for a little while now. I just want to touch bases on the whole Crawford versus Canelo, Teofimo as well. Throw that shit in there. But first, I'm gonna I like to tell y'all that I don't think that's a bad fight. I support that fight. Crawford versus Canelo, or Canelo versus Crawford, however you want to word it. I don't think that's a bad fight, and I don't see why some of the bigger channels are trying to. I mean, I guess what would you say? I guess shooting down the fight. The potential fight. It's almost like they're protecting Canelo or Crawford. I don't know. But let me break this down. The only advantage that I believe Canelo has over Crawford is probably the power and the weight advantage. Well, that's a definite. Is weight advantage. I'll say power. All right, power and weight. Crawford's a half-inch taller, and he has like a 3 or 2.5 inch reach advantage, or 3.5. I'm sorry, yeah, 3.5 inch reach advantage over Canelo. They're both very skilled. Canelo's very skilled. We all know that, and so is Crawford. But despite on how he looked on his last fight against Madrimov, you can't use that. I mean, sure, go ahead and use it, but that's not going to tell you nothing, because Madrimov is a good fighter, and his style is way different than Canelo's style. You know what I'm saying? And Crawford's going to approach that fight different anyway. You know what I mean? He's not. Most fighters don't approach every fight the same. They're not, you know what I mean? Especially Canelo. If Crawford's fighting Canelo, he's not going to approach that fight the same way he approached Madrimov. You know what I mean? Madrimov, you know, he had a, you know, in and out style. You know, he was in and out, in and out. Canelo don't use his feet like that. So, what are y'all talking about? I mean, I'm not saying that he can't, but he don't. That's not his style of fighting. He's not. Canelo don't use his feet like most people think. So, and Crawford can. Crawford could sit in front of you, but also fight on the back foot or moving backwards. He is arguably the best right now. He is the best active right now that could fight back, moving backwards, forward, and side to side because of his footwork. All right? Canelo is not much of a backward fighter. He can't fight moving backwards. He's not. I'm not saying that he can't. He's just not. I mean, he couldn't really fight Triple G backwards like that in the first fight. So, you know, he didn't look good. Anyway, I'm not even going to use that. I'm just saying. I'm trying to address some things being said out there on the bigger channels, because they're just shooting this down. They're, oh, man, Crawford's going to get knocked the fuck out. You know, he ain't going to stand a chance against Canelo. Canelo, you know, 2 weight classes. You know, he'll be jumping up 2 weight classes. But then they talk about Teofimo Lopez fighting Crawford. Teofimo Lopez is going to have to jump up 2 weight classes too to fight Crawford. Crawford ain't going to go down to fight Teofimo. You know, don't disrespect to Teofimo Lopez. You know what I mean? Yeah, Teofimo has accomplished some things, but he still really wasn't considered undisputed at 135. You know, you could say that because he did have 4 belts. But to clear things up, he was supposed to fight Devin Haney to know who the real champion was, because Vasil got elevated to, was it the Diamond, WBC Diamond belt? You know what I mean? So he didn't have to fight as mandatory. So technically you could say he was undisputed at 135. So we could give him that. But it still wasn't 100%, you know what I'm saying? But I would like to give it to Teofimo Lopez that he was undisputed at 135. So we could say he was undisputed at 135. But I'm not going to say he was undisputed at 140. Why? Because Josh Taylor vacated, he vacated 2 belts to avoid fighting a couple of his mandatories that could arguably beat him. You know what I mean? One of his mandatories was Jamias Ponce, you know, who Matias defeated for the vacated belt, because Josh Taylor didn't want to fight him. You know, he didn't want to. I mean, he was out for like a year too. He didn't fight anybody, bro. 140 is stacked with fighters that I think Teofimo Lopez would have a problem beating. I'm not saying that he can't beat him. I'm just saying he'll have problems, you know. And I almost think, I don't almost think, I think that he's trying to go and fight Crawford to avoid fighting his lucrative fights at 140. I'll say that. Lucrative fights at 140. You know? There's a channel out there, and I'm sure y'all know who it is. Pushes Teofimo, says 2 times undisputed. He's not 2 times. When he fought Taylor, he fought Taylor for 1 belt. Alright? And I guess you can call it the Ring Magazine belt if you want to say that. Now, however, I will call him the lineal champion. But he's not an undisputed champion at 140. You know? 140, like I said, is stacked with very good fighters that I think are better than Josh Taylor. Alright? So he's got to fight that and become undisputed at 140 for you to consider he's 2-time undisputed. So I want to clear that up. Alright? Now, he's not more accomplished than Crawford. Alright? So it's a better fight for Canelo to fight Crawford than Crawford to fight Teofimo Lopez, and vice versa. You know, it's on top of that, Crawford is after the bag, so it makes more sense for Crawford to fight Canelo. All right, Crawford is a 2-division undisputed champion, 3-division champion, because he was a champion at 135 also. I think it was the WBA or WBO. I cannot remember the belt. I believe it was the WBO. He might have been WBO champion. Then he moved up, you know, did his thing at 140 and became undisputed at 140. All right. Now the problem that they keep throwing shade to Terence Crawford is that he never gets the credit because they say he ain't fight nobody. But he fought most of the people that he could fight, at least at 140. I won't say he fought everybody at 147 because I was kind of looking at that. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of not wanting to give him full credit either. I ain't going to lie about that. I didn't want to give Crawford full credit, but it's clear to me now that maybe they were avoiding Crawford because Bud, you know, washed those dudes, bro. I'm not gonna lie, he washed them, you know. And what the hell's his name, man? Kell Brook. Sorry, I had a little brain fart there. Kell Brook still looked sharp. He was still sharp. And you know what I mean? They were going tit for tat. I thought Kell Brook won the 2 first rounds. And now Kell Brook is not a fucking bum. Alright? He gave Errol Spence a run for his money. Alright? And that was a Spence that was 100% Spence. You know, whether y'all want to give him credit or not. Whatever. The only thing that sucks is that Crawford didn't fight these guys at their best, we could say. Whatever. So, you know, who else could he have fought at 147? Keith ain't won it. Keith was inactive. He was out on injuries and shit like that. Bud wanted Keith at first. We all know that history. I don't even want to go through all that shit. Anyway, I'm just saying, nobody wants to give Crawford credit. Alright? So Crawford is looking for Canelo because he believes Canelo will give him his credit. Because if he fights everybody else at 154, nobody's going to give him credit. Alright? 154 is another division that is stacked with fighters. Alright? Very good fighters. 147, not anymore like it was. But that's just because I ain't really paying attention. I mean, y'all could fill me in on real good fighters. I'm just a little ignorant about 147 right now. Because I know Boots is one. Boots, what the hell's that other British dude? The real fucking strong motherfucker that failed the drug test. Eubanks? Chris Eubanks? I can't remember his I think Eubanks. I don't remember his name. Anyway, I don't think he's that good either because I watched him. I watched him fight, and I don't think he ain't got shit for Boots. Boots right now, for some reason, ain't nobody fighting Boots either. Man, that bitch was fine. Anyway, ain't nobody fighting Boots either. So Boots ain't never gonna get credit, and everybody keeps wanting Boots to fight, Crawford to fight Boots, but that's not a bag for Crawford. So Crawford ain't gonna want to fight. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna say it like it is. Crawford's not gonna want to fight Boots because there's no money in it. There's no money. There's no bag in fighting Boots. And there's no bag in fighting Teofimo Lopez is what I was really trying to get to. Because this video is about Crawford versus Canelo, also versus Teofimo Lopez. I'm trying to compare. There's no bag in Crawford versus Teofimo Lopez. I'm sorry, there isn't. There just ain't. It's not really a big interest. There's more interest in the pound for pound king, somebody who's considered the pound for pound king, to go up and fight Canelo Alvarez, who was also used to be considered, you know, a top pound for pound king. He still is considered. He's in like the top 5, you know, because of his size. Canelo's a small guy. He's 5'7.5", and he's fighting at 168 pounds, and he's still able to dominate guys at 168. But at the same time, 168 pounds doesn't have skilled fighters as of 140 and 154. I think there's better fighters at 154 skillfully and 140 than there is at 168 pounds. And I'm not discrediting Berlanga because I made a video about Berlanga being going for the underdog. You know? But anyways, that's not about, this video ain't about that. It's about Crawford versus Canelo makes better sense than Crawford versus Teofimo Lopez. Now, they shouldn't shoot that fight down. Why would they shoot it down? Let Crawford get his bag, you know? And I'm not a huge, I'm a boxing fan. I think that's good for boxing. You got you got somebody daring to be great, but then they want to say, oh, Teofimo's daring to be great. All right. Why can't Crawford dare to be great? I'm just trying to address this issue. All right? Because it's an issue. Why is it okay for Teofimo Lopez to fight Crawford at 154, and they could say he's daring to be great. But then they shoot down the moment Crawford wants to go up and fight Canelo, and they don't say anything about him daring to be great. It's Terence Crawford, man. Terence Crawford has been in the game a lot longer than Teofimo Lopez, all right? Crawford is a much bigger name than Teofimo Lopez. He is. For some reason, he don't sell pay-per-views for some reason, but he is a bigger name. He's a bigger name than, he's a bigger name than anybody else at 168 pounds. Who's a bigger name than Terence Crawford at 168? Who's a bigger name than Terence Crawford at 154? You can't say Jermell Charlo because he already stepped up and lost. All right? So he's out the picture. And Jermell Charlo's not a bigger name than Terence Crawford anyway, either. All right? So, you know what I'm saying? It makes better sense from a boxing point of view for Crawford. Remember, pound for pound king. I guess they knocked him down to number 2 because of Inoue, the Japanese guy. They consider him number 1 now because they don't like Crawford. That's the vibe that I get from Inoue, or from Terence Crawford. That's the vibe I get. Nobody really wants to see this man shine. What if he beats? What if this man moves up and beats Canelo? What do y'all got to say now? It's almost like y'all don't want to give him props. You know what I mean? Y'all don't want to see this man shine because, like, I don't know what the reason is behind all that. If a motherfucker want to step up that's considered pound for pound king, has been two division undisputed champion, you know what I'm saying, 3 division champion, wants to move up, that is at his last, his last hurrah, because he's about to be 37 years old, wants to move up and fight and challenge himself to fight Canelo Alvarez. Why do y'all shoot that down? You would rather push Teofimo Lopez versus Crawford. That don't make sense to me. Teofimo Lopez still has work to do at 140. I don't care if you think he's the man because he beat Josh Taylor. To me, I won easy money on that fight because I knew 100% that Teofimo Lopez is going to beat this guy. I don't know what they see in Josh Taylor, you know what I mean, that makes them think that he could beat Teofimo Lopez based on the attributes. You know what I'm saying? It's boxing's funny, man. Boxing, and I'm not saying I'm always right, but Josh Taylor's a good fighter, but he beat Regis Prograis, who I always thought one of these days he's gonna fight somebody who can actually box and lose. You know, all he had going for him was that left hand. He was dangerous because he was a southpaw with power, considered with power. But I always, like I said, he didn't really have, to me, his boxing skills were never outstanding. And then it just took somebody who was big, like Josh Taylor, who's like, I think Josh Taylor's 6 foot, man. Or he might be like 5'10", 5'11", or some shit like that. He's a big 140. And who has decent boxing skills. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say he's outstanding, because he's not. To me, he's not outstanding. You know what I mean? It was just a matter of time. You know, congratulations, which I didn't think the fight, he fought another dude, which I thought he lost that fight. And then he went on to fight Regis Prograis. You know what I mean? And then, won the last of that belt. So whatever, man. I never thought he was outstanding like that. So Teofimo beats him. And then now he's the man at 140, right? I can give him that. But he's not undisputed. Not when a dude don't defend his undisputed title. He did not defend his undisputed title because he did not take on the mandatories that he was supposed to take on. All right? That makes perfect sense. If you go ahead and you vacate and you do not defend your undisputed title, you are no longer undisputed. So Teofimo beat, you could consider him the lineal champion, you know? But he's not an undisputed champion, which probably means the lineal champion. Anyway, I don't know shit. What do y'all want to say? But I don't know what to call that. But to me, he's not the undisputed champion. All right? He has one belt, and that's all he is. The WBO champion. He is not undisputed. You can't call him two-time undisputed. All right? Undisputed in one weight class. And he beat one guy to get undisputed. Which all that shit, I have a problem with all that. When you beat one guy who didn't really, you know what I'm saying? I guess you can, because Lomachenko was the guy at 130. Well, like I said, I gave him that credit. I believe he was undisputed at 135. But he lost his defense. You know what I'm saying? You're really considered undisputed when you can defend that title. He never defended that title. He never defended that undisputed title. So, whatever. He won all the belts one time and lost his the next fight. So he moves up, has a few fights. Didn't look great, but that's not to discredit Teofimo Lopez. That's to give credit to his opponents. I'm not the type of guy who's going to get on here and discredit his opponents. You know? I'm not that guy. I give full credit to his opponents, and he beat those guys. Congratulations. Sandor Martin, I don't know about that fight, but they gave him the win. I have to watch that fight again very closely, but it almost looked like Sandor Martin won. But Teofimo did come forward. He was more aggressive. You know what I'm saying? And the rounds were very close. They were very, very close rounds. You know what I'm saying? It was one of them fights. But Sandor Martin did drop him twice, arguably 3 times. But he only got one knockdown. Anyway, or no, he might have got the 2 knockdowns. See, I don't remember, man. I don't dwell on it that much. I have to watch it again. But anyways, it's better for Crawford to fight Canelo, and it's better for Canelo to fight a Crawford. Who else is Canelo gonna fight at 168 that has a big name? You know what I'm saying? So I could see why they're pushing this fight. Now let me break this down. Skills. All right. Crawford, to me, is better than Canelo. Canelo is a sharp, crisp puncher. He's a very good puncher. But, you know what I'm saying? Crawford is also a good puncher, but I give him the edge because he has a better snap in his punches. You know what I'm saying? I always said this. He has a better, he snaps the punches, you know what I'm saying? Because you're supposed to aim with these knuckles. When you punch, not with these. That's another thing with Shakur Stevenson. That's why he don't got power. He turns his fist, but he hits with the bottom. You're supposed to hit with these 2 knuckles. And you're supposed to snap your punches, keep your elbow and your shoulder, and whatever, man. I'm just saying, Crawford has has, to me, what I see in his fights, he has a snap. He snaps it a little bit better than Canelo does. But Canelo is a very sharp puncher, I'm not going to lie. Now, he has the weight and the power. But now this is what I got to say. When I break it down, Crawford is a smart... to me, he has the better IQ than... see, the IQ is another thing, but I believe... I think Crawford does have a better IQ. He's a little bit more slicker than you think. Canelo's a slick fighter, but Crawford has a little bit more tricks. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Now, I know he didn't look too good against Madrimov, but Madrimov he's got some tricks too if y'all are able to identify that. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, because I know the way I'm talking, they're just gonna discredit what I'm saying because of his last fight against Madrimov, you know. But what about Berlanga? Everybody, you know, oh, he beat Berlanga. Berlanga's not that skilled, you know, not as skilled as Crawford. Skill for skill, Crawford is a lot better than Berlanga is. And we all saw how Canelo looked against Berlanga. Yeah, he won just about every round. You know, I gave Berlanga like 3 or 4 rounds. Like 4 rounds. But Canelo looked like he took off those rounds. But Berlanga still gave a good fight, man. Like, he was still in there. He hung in there with Canelo. You know what I'm saying? Canelo... Yeah, this is why I want the fight to happen, because y'all are going to see Canelo is not what y'all think he really is. 168 pounds is not stacked with guys that have those type of skills like 154 and 140 does right now. You know what I mean? They just don't. So Canelo's able to look like that. And that's why he picked Bivol. Bivol, I won money there too, because I was like, I don't know, I don't think he's gonna beat Bivol because of Bivol's size and his work rate. You know what I mean? Bivol's pretty sharp, so I was like, hey, Canelo ain't gonna beat him because of his pace. And that's all you got to do against Canelo. My belief against Canelo is if you can keep a pace that Canelo can't keep up with, and on top of that, and you got good footwork, good footwork placement and all that, you're gonna beat Canelo. You know, that's my opinion. And because Canelo don't got fast feet like that. He's got educated footwork, but it's not fast. You know what I mean? He likes to stay stationary. He likes to get in there and use his defense and stay planted, which his defense is very good. You know, I will say that. But it's not like y'all think, because Crawford is a very smart fighter. He's very crafty. He's more craftier than Canelo. I give him the edge in IQ, speed. And even though he's going up in weight, y'all think he'll be slower. But I think, man, he's going to prepare for Canelo. You know? I'm going to cut it short. I could be here forever, man. I just got home. I just got off of work. And I made this video. But I wanna make another video, a part 2 of this. So stay tuned, man. Yo, hit the like, comment. Let me know what y'all think too, man. For real. JDO Boxing, I'm out. I'm going to cut this out.